Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Grant County. Good morning, Silver City.
How you doing, Tater?
I'm doing good, Jim. Welcome to the Jim and Tater Show on KOOT-FM 88.1. What is up, Jim?
What is up?
Yeah, what's up? What's with you today? You look like...
I'm in mourning.
I just want to pick a fight. What's up? Oh, well, I thought we'd had a meeting about this. Yeah. I wanted to have a week-long celebration of his death, and you want to... We're not talking about anybody in particular. There's a friend of ours that died.
I just wanted to celebrate the passing of another pedophile.
You know, that's one less person. That's one less perpetrator on the planet in my book.
Come on.
You know, you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Don't get me started on this.
Come on.
Because there's a lot of listeners who are not going to like what I have to say.
That's okay. They don't have to like. You know what? There's a knob on there. They can change the channel if they don't like it.
Apparently not. You should have heard the phone calls I was getting last week.
That's all right.
Okay. You know, do you have a microwave oven?
Yes, I do.
One of my pet peeves is you go to Walmart and you buy some microwavable plasticware from China, and you get it home and you find out it's really not microwave proof. Or, you know, let's say you're cooking some soup. I mean, that thing melts in your microwave. It wasn't supposed to. Okay.
There's a way to get around it.
Well, the inside of your oven, the inside of my microwave looks kind of like the one most people have in their office, and there's all this yucky crust that's splattered up on the inside, and you can take your finger and rub it. In fact, everyone go to your microwave right now. I don't think anyone out there's got a spotless microwave. Reach in and take a fingerful of that grit. Now I want you to take a good look at it. You see that right there?
Boy, now there's good eating.
That stuff right there has more value than anything Michael Jackson ever did artistically.
Ooh, ouch! Watch out!
I said artistically.
Artistically.
Now, there are some things he did that do matter to me, and they're things that he never was punished for.
That's right. How about this? The man was, let's see, famous for the moonwalk, pelvic thrusts, and pedophilia. I see why they're making a hero out of him.
MPP.
PP.
Well, yeah, they're making a hero out of him. And I had a friend on the phone, and she said, you know, it's sad, blah, blah. Yeah, it's sad. There's a whole lot of sad elements to it. And I told her, I said, you know what? I'd like to bury some of the bad things with him and remember the good things about Michael Jackson. And I don't blame everything on him, but he was his own person. He had his own money. He made his own choices. As warped or screwed up as you may think he was, I think Michael Jackson should have been held just as accountable as anyone else facing those types of accusations.
Me too.
Now, maybe I don't have millions of dollars that people want to try to take from me, and people aren't going to come up to Tater and try to take my bicycle over some false accusation of date rape or whatever, or pot smoking or whatever, but do you know where I'm going with this? I mean, do you see
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Warren Buffett's got more money than Michael Jackson. He never had to be goofy to maintain it.
Okay. Well, I put this, and honestly, black people, nothing on you, okay? Nothing on you. But those were our heroes, and they just happened to be black. But I put him in the same book with O.J. Simpson.
Charles Manson.
Okay, there's a white guy.
Yeah.
They're on the same level. They're sociopaths, they're psychopaths, they're killers, they're perpetrators, they're whatever they are. But apparently there's been a law passed when you and I weren't looking in the United States that no matter what city you're in, it's legal, it's perfectly okay for a pro athlete to kill you.
Evidently.
Or a rock star or a movie star. I don't know if there's been any movie stars out murdering people, but it'll happen.
Well, how about Robert Blake?
And we will not indict them or convict them.
Don't forget Robert Blake.
Tell me about... Oh, exactly. I was walking out of the restaurant, and I went back in to get my gun.
Yeah,
and when I walked back out to the car, the biatch was dead in the front seat.
Imagine that.
I don't know how this happened.
Most startling coincidence in history.
Go ahead. Book me. Hey, that's a big 5-0. Book him down,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah, and he walked. He ain't the first. He won't be the last. I mean, come on. We live in a country that so celebrates celebrity. It's just insane.
I know. This is not a sad commentary on what Michael Jackson's father did to him. This is a commentary on our culture and what its values are and what we're teaching our children they need to be looking up to.
Hey, by the way, I don't care what Michael Jackson's father did to him. He was 50 years old, for God's sakes. It's about time that people start taking responsibility for themselves.
I'm just a little boy. I never got to. And they did that to me. I didn't. I couldn't help myself.
I couldn't help myself. I went down to the mall along and I killed 38 people because my daddy was mean to me.
Wait, they're going to put Kim Jong-il on trial in the world court, and Kim Jong-il is going to take a cue from Michael Jackson's attorneys, and he's going to get up there and say, "I'm just a little tin horn dictator. I'm just trying to control my people. It's not my fault that I blew up the half of the Middle East with the nuclear bomb."
I got to be forgiven for starting a nuclear war because I was abused as a child.
And by the way, Kim Jong-il, if you're listening, which I know he's one of our biggest fans.
Yeah,
nutting
he's
on
sponsoring
you, bro.
the show now, by the way.
Kim, nutting on you, nutting against you,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But here's the deal. The only reason I have to say that is he's a sponsor of the show.
Yeah, Okay. How did he become a sponsor of the show?
Well, Jim, one reason I am so fired up today, and if the audience notices, we've had a 2-week hiatus, and we've been following some different leads and stories. Jim's had problems of his own. I've had to go bail him out of jail. He had to bail me out of jail. I spent 2 days in the Frankfurt airport trying to figure out what the heck these Germans were saying. Okay, I'm about to board my flight to Korea with the governor of you-know-what state.
Yeah.
And I get this telephone call, and I'm about to turn my cell phone off and tuck it in my carry-on, and I open it up, and guess who's on the phone?
Not Kim Jong-il.
No, the United States ambassador to North Korea.
Okay. Well, so that's how you made the connect, huh?
He's the ambassador to South Korea. He says to me, "Look, they want to cut a deal. They are tired of Jim. He has not shut up since they locked him in his cell, and he is driving them friggin' nuts." So I've been, on airplanes for, 36 hours. I've been sitting in an airport for 48 hours just trying to get your butt out of North Korea. And then I find out they're going to pay us to take you back. And
that's not hard for me to believe at all.
As a born salesman that I am, I thought, now is the perfect opportunity for me to close this man. So I slam dunked him, and he's our first sponsor.
That's right. And I'm looking forward to some really unique commercials coming out of North Korea, too.
I'll tell you what you're going to get out of the Jim and Tater Show on KOOT. You're going to get some really innovative and original material on this radio show, buddy, because now that we have the funding of North Korea,
that's right,
we can say almost anything we want as long as we remain within our guidelines.
And he promised us if anybody gives us any Pelosi, he's going to take care of it for us.
Don't be denigrating our senator from whatever in the heck, I don't know.
Congresswoman from San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah.
What do you got against her?
Well, I'm not allowed to use that word that starts with a C, so I use the word that starts with a P. Just a big pile of Pelosi laying there. Ooh, flies all over it.
Listen, we had to talk. Oh yeah, we can't talk about doggy whatever.
No, we can't talk about.
All right. There is one thing we can talk about.
What's that?
Marijuana.
Uh-oh.
It's illegal still.
Hey, did you know?
You can't smoke it, you can't possess it, but I looked it up, and I think you can still talk about it.
That's right.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
did you know that somebody came to town to try to start a new business here?
And
they've had to delay their opening 2 months in a row because they can't get enough people to pass a drug test?
You're talking about new business owners in Silver City?
Well,
many have tried, and many have failed.
That's right. And
well,
they said that
we're not naming names, but there is a new
of all the
business,
people that flunked the drug test, the thing you take when you apply for a job.
You're talking about people trying to be new hires.
Trying to be new hires with a new company. Anyhow, the people who did flunk the test, they said about 90% of them that did flunked it because of marijuana.
Yeah, there's something else you probably haven't heard.
What's that?
I don't know if this is in relation to the same drug tests you're talking about,
Probably
but there
is.
are other people in town are, required to take drug tests for different reasons. Some of those drug tests have, from some people I know, I can't name these sources on the air, but they are testing positive to a drug that we haven't seen for quite a while called PCP. It's a
Ooh, not that one again.
Yes, and these people have a look on their face like, what do you mean I tested positive to PCP? All I do is smoke marijuana.
Uh-oh, boy, what does that tell you?
It tells me something. Somehow they're like PCP is falling out of the sky and landing on the joint as they're smoking it.
It must be.
Or it's landing on the fields as they're growing it. Or it's being sprinkled on the pot as they're bagging it up.
Maybe it's even more clandestine than that. Maybe the enemies of the United States are spraying mosquitoes and they're getting into marijuana.
Well, someone's got a plot. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to. You know what? When I smoke a joint, I want what I want. When I order a light beer, I don't want a dark beer. I want a beer. If I want pot, I want pot. I don't want PCP.
I want a beer just like the beer that pickled my old man.
If I want some horn of the ox that gored me, I want a Bloody Mary with some pepper and lemon.
Oh, come on now. It ain't even noon yet,
right.
pal.
But if I knew that PCP would give me that same kick, I guess now all I have to do is smoke a joint.
Well, there you go.
But if my kids happen to get a hold of some, my 12-year-old in this junior high decides that he's going to smoke some pot with his buddies after school one day for the first time in his life, and the first puff he takes off of marijuana gets him all whacked out on PCP, I tell you what, I'm going to be a little upset.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Must be some kind of way out of here, said the joker to the thief. There's too much confusion, I can't get no relief. Businessman there, drink my wine. Plowman, dig my earth. None will level on the mine. Nobody of it is worth. Hey, hey. No reason to get excited. The thief be kindly spoke. There are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. But you and I, we've been through that, and this is not our fate. So let us start talking falsely now. The hour's getting late. Hey!
And we're back on the... And we're back on the Jim and Tater Show. I'm Tater.
I'm Jim.
Hi, Jim.
How you doing, Jay? You're a little up there in the energy level today, aren't you?
Yes. How do you feel? I'm not on anything, ladies and gentlemen, but how do you feel about the first segment of the show just now?
I like that, because if there are people in this community selling marijuana to people and it's dusted with PCP, I want them in jail. I want them life in the electric chair.
For doing what?
For dusting marijuana with PCP.
I think that's going easy on them, pal.
Yeah, I do too.
If I find out, I know who I buy my pot from, and I ask them, and they both turned white as a sheet.
Well, everybody in this town needs to know that these drug dealers are spraying the marijuana with PCP. Let's drop a dime on them. Let's get rid of them. Let's send them to that place where they can never come back.
I got friends that come to me and want marijuana all the time. I'm not a drug dealer, but if I have a little marijuana and they just happen to walk away with some in their hand, you know what? I certainly hope it doesn't have any other things on it.
You and me both.
They want what they want. They don't want to be poisoned with PCP or MTB or anything, or GHB. Yeah. You don't want a date rape drug or an elephant tranquilizer on your marijuana.
You know what this actually brings to my mind, though, is you could absolutely eliminate the possibility of adulterants in marijuana if it were legalized.
Wait a minute, that sounds really radical. What are you talking about? We legalize it, everyone will be smoking PCP.
Well, how about this?
Oh, no, wait a minute.
If you've got a brand new business that just come to town and they're having a hard time hiring enough people to fill up the clock because they can't pass the drug test. I mean, 40-50% can't pass the drug test. What that tells me is it's way past the time for legalization.
I would say so. And it tells me also that maybe Prozac doesn't work for everyone.
That's another issue I want to talk to you about. How many of these kids in school, first, second,
are
third
on a
grade,
behavioral psychotropic drug?
They're on Ritalin and all these other drugs. By the time they get to high school, they're addicted to psychotropics, and people wonder why they're now using marijuana, for crying out loud.
They're tired of being a zombie on these drug company drugs. These multinational, multi-billion and trillion-dollar companies, they're now indoctrinating our children into becoming pillheads at a very early age. And it's going to be easy to prescribe them anything they want. They're going to have this whole nation walking around like Stepford wives.
They already are. See, here's the deal. What most people don't know, when they think about kids using drugs, they think about marijuana and morphine and heroin.
No, they're popping handfuls of pills and trading for what they found in mommy's medicine cabinet.
That is exactly it.
What you got? I don't know what this is, but there's 5 different colors here. I don't know.
They're green and purple, and they
look
real cool.
There have been TV shows and documentaries done already nationally about parties where these kids take piles of pills and don't have any idea of what the counter effects, the counteractions, and what's going to happen, what high they're looking for. They're just trying to get messed up.
You know why they're not getting much airplay on this problem?
I have a feeling. What?
The real reason they're not getting much airplay is because the pharmaceutical houses are making so much money. They don't want to interfere with the flow of drugs.
If you ever thought the tobacco lobby had millions and billions, wait till you see the money that drug companies spend. I got a joke.
Come on.
I wrote this joke myself, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. That's not that complex, but there's a...
Should I smoke a joint before that?
Hey, wait, hold on. Hey, I told you guys not to smoke in here. Smoke outside. This is a marijuana.
Yeah, this is a radio show.
Marijuana radio, but we only talk about it. We don't smoke pot here.
No, we don't smoke it here.
So listen.
It's all fake, folks. It's all fake.
I can't say the name of the drug company, can I?
No, don't say the name of the drug company. Just
call
it the XYZ drug company.
The Humpty Dumpty drug company has a new drug out, and it's a combo. It's a combo drug, which are getting very popular now. Instead of prescribing 3, we'll give you one for a migraine. It's got a little anti-inflammatory. It's got a good painkiller, and it's got something to help the migraine, whatever. Right? Well, I got a drug. It's made out of Prozac, Viagra.
Ooh!
It keeps you happy and horny all day.
Oh God, that reminds me of Bill Murray.
You can say horny, horny.
That movie Caddyshack. Remember Caddyshack?
I remember
Bill Murray, the groundskeeper, right? He says, "Man, I got myself a hybrid that I created here. It's like half Kentucky bluegrass and half Northern California sensimilla." He says you can play 9 holes of golf on it by 2:00 in the afternoon and just get high as a kite by dinner time.
And what do you do with it? Smoke it?
It's a hybrid that he was.
Okay. This is not a show about how to do drugs.
No, he said it was. You never saw the movie, evidently.
I didn't memorize all the subplots. No.
I thought it was funny. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it in a few years.
Anyhow,
don't
moving
do
on.
That gesture. You just made a weird gesture to me, ladies and gentlemen.
Moving on.
Okay.
Well, I'm just trying to ask you if you were smart enough.
I am willing to put myself out there. I am Tater. Hear me friggin' roar.
Come on, Tater.
Fry me, slice me, dice me, julienne me, whatever you want to do. I'm your poster child for marijuana smokers. I want all law enforcement in Silver City and Grant County to know that everywhere I go, there's a good chance I might be carrying marijuana.
Uh-oh. Now there's a target on your back.
You want to pull me over and get an easy bust? Do it.
They're looking for you now, baby.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Lori and Gwen on the Gwen and Lori Show, they have a motto. They'll talk to anyone, so you don't have to.
That's right.
My motto now is, I get busted, so you don't have to.
And that's a public service by Tater at the Jim and Tater Show.
Yes, but I'm telling everybody, if you just bought a bag of pot recently, you might want to go easy on it.
Yeah, and you might want to remember who you bought it from so you can thump him in the head when you find out he dusted it with PCP.
I sure would like to know. Boy, would I like to know.
By about Tuesday of next week, the sale of baseball bats ought to go up about 200%.
I'll tell you what, it's baseball season. How about them Yankees?
How about them Yankees? Well, you know, Tater, we're going to have to find a way here to keep you from winding up in big trouble over this issue.
I'll tell you what, I am fired up, Jim. And I can remember talking to you about other issues in here where I'm trying to calm you down, and I'm like, Jim, you know, back up, buddy.
Now you know where the passion comes from.
Well, you know what? Yes, and for me, it's always been for young people and old people. Yeah. People don't respect old people enough anymore, and they don't respect our children at all.
But it's a societal thing, man. We got
hello.
They put Martha Stewart in prison over a $12,000 insider trading deal, and they ignore people like Charlie Rangel and Chris Dodd and Barney Frank that have literally stolen tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and nobody cares.
What do you bet that there was a lot of snickering going on when they decided, let's let Martha Stewart go down for this one?
You bet there was more than snickering going on.
Hey, Martha Stewart, everything on you, okay. But
no, I actually think she's a brilliant woman.
But you should have been in there with she should have been in there with some other people serving time.
I don't think she should have been in there at all.
Whatever you think, yeah. You know? She's a scapegoat.
And in fact, now that they've gone back and re-reviewed that case, it turns out that she didn't violate the law at all. What she did was lied to Congress.
What we want to try to do is lighten the mood here and. We are celebrating. It's a week-long celebration of the passing of one of our greatest entertainers of at least the last...
The king of pop.
10 seconds or so, yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. If it passed from Elvis to Michael Jackson, I certainly hope that the pendulum swings back a different direction.
It ain't going to.
I'll tell you who my vote would be, and it's not going to matter, because the guy, turns out the leader of this band that I'm crazy about right now, turns out he's the devil himself, and he's admitted it. He's already made a deal with the devil to make his break in rock and roll, and he said, you know, I'm ready to take over as the king of rock and roll and spread disease all over this country and everything that rock and roll stands for, all those horrible, terrible things. But when you hear this man describe his rock and roll lifestyle, and it's about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, make no mistake about it, he says, you know, he's got a song, I want what I want.
That's the theme of our culture today.
Yeah, you're right.
Not only do I want what I want, but I want what I want, and I want it now.
But you know what I want? When I want rock and roll, I want rock and roll. I don't want some repeat of Axl Rhodes on dope singing horribly without Slash. And I'm quoting Boots Electric. So Boots, everything to you, bro. The deal is, if you take the uns and the oses out of Guns N' Roses, it's just G and R, isn't it?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, okay. But... okay, where was I going with this? Legalization?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Earlier you were talking about something or other, and you said it related to some other story.
Well, no, I was saying that when you talk about dust and marijuana with PCP,
okay,
you know, it really ties into a story that needs to be out there if this thing's going on. A lot of people are being hurt by this, and they don't even know they're being hurt. That's the big issue.
That's the sad part.
You know, they think they're getting high on marijuana. They're getting high on PCP. And I'm putting the call out there to anybody who's been tricked into buying that stuff. If you discover that that's what it is, you go back here and thump that guy that sold it to you.
How are you going to... I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you right now, this marijuana looks like any other marijuana, and it smells the same, and it tastes the same. The tea you make out of it tastes the same. Brownies are going to taste the same.
Well, see, that's one of the flaws of living in New Mexico, because I've been in other states where you actually could take some of your dope down to a laboratory and have it analyzed, and they would tell you whether or not it was in there.
So they could take an organic substance, a piece of a plant, and tell you if it has some form.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe we need to open a little private independent lab.
You couldn't get away. You couldn't get away with it in New Mexico because they're so blinded.
Well, we wouldn't be able to hire anybody because they couldn't pass the drug test.
Maybe not. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Isn't that something?
I just want to tell you, celebrating Michael Jackson's death gives me great pleasure. And I really wish he could have held off for maybe a week, because wouldn't you much rather spend the weekend watching old Farrah Fawcett videos?
Oh, yesterday morning when she passed away, I'm thinking, boy, now all weekend we're going to get to see Farrah Fawcett.
Forget it.
Forget that. He just took her thunder, too. How about, that's one self-centered son of a gun, boy.
And,
here, I want to throw this in.
Ahead.
This is what I suspect. I want to get it down on record today because they really haven't put anything out.
You have a good theory on this.
What I think has happened here, Michael Jackson's going to get ready to do a 50-tour thing here over in England.
50 dates, yeah.
50 dates. And he's had this pattern in the past of feigning suicides. This ain't the first time. I think what he did, and I've got some facts to back this up, they just delivered a huge quantity of morphine to his house about 3 or 4 days ago. I think he feigned a suicide, shot himself up with morphine. Only being 50 is different than being 20. His heart stopped. He was going to use this as a catalyst to get free promo all over the world. Headlines everywhere. Michael Jackson in the hospital in cardiac arrest. Oh, boy, they survived
24 hours ago.
Yeah, well, it didn't work out the way he expected.
No place to hide, no place to go.
The good news,
I want to be sedated.
The good news is,
take me to the hotel.
Michael Jackson now knows to a scientific certainty whether there is, in fact, life after death.
my fingers, I can't control my toes. Oh no, oh, oh, oh. 24 hours ago, I wanna be sedated. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. I wanna be sedated. Just put me in a wheelchair, get me to the show. Hurry, 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 before I go the door. I can't control my fingers, I can't control my toes. Oh no, oh, oh, oh. Bam, 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 bam. I wanna be sedated. Bam, 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 bam. I wanna be sedated. Bam, 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 bam. I wanna be sedated. Bam, 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 bam. I wanna be sedated.
Welcome back to the Jim and Tater Show, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to your community radio for Grant County and Silver City from Hurley, New Mexico. It's KOOT-FM. Is that good enough,
Man.
Jim? Was that some energy there?
You know what? I need to borrow some of your energy today, man. Usually I'm the one that's
You
way
are
up
usually
there.
you're the, well. You are one of the only people I know who can be more passionate and more type A, whatever you want to call it. And that's one reason I was attracted to you, and that's one reason that I keep proposing marriage to you. is because
And that's why I keep turning you down.
well, whatever. Does it seem that desperate and needy? Do I seem kind of clingy to you, or
No.
But I'm very attracted to people who know what they think, know what they believe in, know what their value systems are, and aren't ashamed to go out and here's what I was trying to think of earlier. I can't name names, obviously,
Right.
for all kinds of reasons, and I don't need to. I just want to tell you what a friend of mine said. He's a
Yeah,
friend.
come on.
You were in the shop talking to me. I work on cars, and you were back there talking to me, and I put down all my tools. A friend of mine was in there, and he was talking to my girlfriend, and they're outside on another car leaning on it, and they're talking about something else, and we're just kind of taking a break. It's 80% humidity, and it's 92 degrees, and this friend of mine comes strolling into the shop right after you had left, and
Yeah.
he could hear that we were having one of our usual discussions about something that's actually a real issue.
When we're not on the radio, it's like
Right.
we're on the radio.
I know it is, and that's why we started this show in a way,
Right.
because
It
we
was the
knew
whole
that
reason.
we actually were having discussions about things that mattered. He looked at me and he said, the first thing he says is, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. And I looked at him and I'm like, huh? Where are you going with this? And he says, but if you're hanging out with him, I mean, that guy didn't know anything he's talking about. And he had no arguments. He had no comebacks. It was just, you're a complete idiot, Jim.
Well, that's the only response they can give when they don't know what they're talking about. You know, I've had this situation many, many times in my life, and I still would suggest to anybody who finds fault with something I say, hey, you want to argue the point, bring some facts. I'm ready for the argument. The problem is, they never can come with any facts.
You've had people willing to engage you in fisticuffs because they couldn't think of anything to say to you, and they just wanted you to be quiet and just sit there and be quiet. Could you please, Jim?
Because that's what they do. You see, the Nazis march into town and take over, and these dumb butts sit there quiet like a bump on a log, and they say, oh, ain't it awful?
I've been beating my head against a wall just like people that we eat breakfast with that we're talking about the other day. They have been trying to tell people in this county for years, hey, you may not be a rancher. You may not own land up here that borders on the National Forest. You may not need to use the National Forest for your own purposes. But the more they take those folks' rights away, and when they're done, honey, they're coming for your rights next. And
Well,
that's
of
what people
course.
don't get.
You don't have
They're
to,
like, everybody be quiet, don't make waves.
You don't have to dig very far into history to see that when the Nazi thugs took over Germany, people said, well, you know, they just came after the Jews. I'm not a Jew. What do I care? Then they came after the gypsies. Oh, I'm not a gypsy. What do I care? Then they come after the homosexuals. Well, I'm not a homosexual. What do I care? Pretty soon you're the only one left, and they're coming after you. That is going on right here in the U.S. of A. today, baby.
Right, and you and I get on a radio show, and every time we're talking about a topic, we have to tiptoe around certain words and things and make sure we don't say the wrong things. And it's
What
not
happened to
because
freedom of speech?
We're not trying to avoid profanity, ladies and
No.
gentlemen. We're just trying to talk about topics without breaking
better than that.
breaking federal law.
We're actually trying to just disseminate some truth
Right.
without breaking federal law.
And thank goodness that our forefathers had the foresight to say, we need to pass something in the Bill of Rights that allows people to assemble? What is
Hey, how about
that?
this one?
More than one person
How
can
about
meet,
this
and
one?
it's not illegal.
I was having a conversation just yesterday with somebody about that deal out in San Diego County. There's actually a couple out there that are being threatened with jail and huge fines because, get ready for this, they are holding Bible studies in their home.
What?
Yeah, the county came along and said, if you're going to continue with this activity, you're going to have to get what's known as a major use permit under the zoning law, and it's going to cost you about $90,000.
Well, wait a minute. You told us we couldn't pray in the schools. We're just trying to have a prayer meeting somewhere besides.
They're not even having
the
a prayer
school.
meeting.
What
They're
are they
having
doing?
a Bible study in their home.
Oh, now you're really stepping over the line there.
And see, the problem is, I guess about 15 or 20 people are parking their cars on the street for 3-4 hours on a Wednesday night, and the neighbors are just really offended by this.
Try living across the street from a church. I mean, it's the same thing. But
I would be
I don't want to
curious.
outlaw churches any more than I want to outlaw books. I don't want to burn books.
It's not about wanting to outlaw. Hear this. The United States Constitution, the First Amendment to the Constitution says, and I quote, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of a religion, comma, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The reason our founding fathers wrote it the way they wrote it was so that no congressman could come along and set up some supervisory board that says, no, you can't have a church there, you can't have a church there.
Isn't it interesting how a lot of these laws begin with those words? Congress shall make no law.
Now you tell me,
Tell
when
me
it says Congress shall make no law, how many laws does that allow Congress to make?
Well, have you read the FCC manual lately?
Yeah, it's about 9,000 pages long.
I read the Cliff Notes. I wasn't able to read mine.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I cheated. But
It depends on what you mean by the word is.
I'll tell you, I went to the section on beer, and I made sure I knew which beers not to name, and, I don't want to denigrate the people that are the distributors, the family that owns the distributorship.
Oh, you mean you can't say Stumpweiser on the air?
Apparently you can't say Bud Stupid either.
No. Or Bud Dumber.
And that'll probably be cut, but if it is, that's
So
what we're
be
talking
it.
about. We're going to leave that as dead airspace with a bleep.
There you go.
A long bleep, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
We're talking about normal everyday life, but God forbid that we cast aspersions on some major corporation that's got billions of dollars. We don't want to bruise them or hurt their little egos. What's
And we wouldn't want to
deal?
do that because, after all, only about 500,000 people die every year from smoking cigarettes. Only about 100,000 people die every year from drinking alcohol. About 70,000 die from legal prescription drugs.
Sure.
About 35,000 people die from over-the-counter drugs.
Yep.
But gee, let's don't talk about those things. It might offend some sponsor.
No, and every time a drug is working good on, whether it's reducing cholesterol or it's helping you, it's helping you, how do you say that nicely? Anyway, it's helping you do something. It's helping a bodily function perform better. They go ahead and they rush it to the market with, let's just take the hit later, buddy. Let's make our billions now, and then we'll fight it in the courts later when we find out people's kidneys are failing.
Or here's a better one. Kids can't pray in school, but all night long while you're watching TV, you have to hear about male enhancement drugs.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to have a combo drug. It makes you happy and horny all day. I call it Proagra. It's half Prozac and half Viagra. But my point is...
But I'm happy and I'm horny and I don't need drugs.
Don't get me started on the baby boomers, honey, because this will go on for hours. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to our week-long celebration of what, Jim? Oh, that's right. You know what? I am angry. We spent a half an hour. I'm already angry. Spent half an hour talking about Michael Jackson, and I swore I wasn't going to say anything about him.
But you didn't even wear a black armband today.
I know. Too bad, huh? I've got my white glove.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
on one hand.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a little impression. Simone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jackson right here in the studio.
We got some Michael Jackson.
He's been raised from the dead. He must be a god.
We got some talk radio up in here.
We'll be back in a minute.
ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to the Jim and Tater Show, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to KOOT-FM 88.1. I'm Tater.
I'm Jim.
Jim has a story. It's one that I begged him not to do, but he never listens to me, and he went out and interviewed someone, and we have it on tape, and that's coming up next. And I think
I just thought he was a really interesting character.
It is. It's a good interview, and once again, you proved me wrong, and that's fine. I will admit every time that there was some possibility I might have been a little off. But
a little off? I mean, come on, that's an oxymoron.
Okay, everybody, I hope you like this. This is Jim with Joey the Hitman.
Well, we're here today with our guest, the famous or infamous, or maybe you don't know at all, Joey the Hitman. How you doing, Joey?
Pretty good, Jim. How you doing?
How are things back east?
The land of D's and Dems and those kind of nice to get out once in a while.
Did you just kind of stumble across Silver City, or are you here for a particular reason?
I'm here to drum up some business. We being a hitman, 2 for 1. You stab them, we slap them, we can even stash them.
You going to do a 2-for-1 sale here in Grant County?
Absolutely, Jim.
So let's see. We got folks out there that might want to, partake of your services. How exactly would they contact you if they wanted to go?
Well, I got my own .com. It's Hitman. It's HTMN.com.
Is that it? Okay. You got a phone number where they might call you, like at 1-800?
Yeah, 222-145555.
All right. So, folks out there, if you got somebody, maybe a neighbor that's really been, causing you a little grief? Or,
I like to do the wives one, don't you?
Oh, you like to do the wives, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, could all you husbands out there that are really upset with her today, maybe you want to call Joey or contact him, maybe work something out. Eh?
First one's free.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your background, Joey. You were born in Genoa, Sicily?
Yes, sir. That's Southern Island off the boot. Yes, sir.
Southern Island off the boot.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know this, but I actually have some connections to you. You believe it or not.
Like from the Teflon
No,
down?
my mother's family came from a little town called Santa Ninfa, Sicily.
Oh, yeah, I know some people from there.
Yeah, so maybe you give me a discount if I need your services.
Well, Jim, you drum up some business for me, you got a freebie for the rest of your life.
Oh, see? So anybody out there that really doesn't like me, maybe you want to hear that. Okay, well, Joey, I'm going to see if I can round up Tater and get him back over here on the air. So got anything else you want to say to the audience out there?
Well, I'm just a little upset about that thing with Dr. Tiller. I want to get it myself, but someone beat me to it.
Oh, well, by the way, it wasn't a murder. Did you know that?
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, they're calling that a murder. And Ann Coulter said that wasn't a murder, that Dr. Tiller was terminated in his 203rd trimester.
This apple
Welcome back to the Jim and Tater Show. I'm Tater.
I'm Jim.
My motto is, I get busted so you don't have to. Jim's motto is,
I do the talking so you don't have to.
that's right. If you ever are a lack for something to say, Jim can fill in for you, and
Always.
usually free of charge while you're eating your meal.
Without invitation.
Speaking of meals, I tease Jim a lot because he's the only person I know who can out-talk me. And honestly, I thought I had won the gold medal on that, but it was nice to meet someone who I could talk with and had something to say back. But what it sometimes turns into is it's a competition for the floor. And it's taken us 3 years to learn how to give and take in that, hasn't it?
But the good news is we learned it.
Exactly.
If we can, anybody
One
can.
of my pet peeves, I just hate it when someone keeps talking while I'm trying to interrupt.
You mean when I'm interrupting and you can't
No.
interrupt?
Yeah, so you keep talking and I'm trying to interrupt, or I keep whatever.
But your interruptions can't overcome my interruptions.
I had a girlfriend who kept saying, "Well, that's how we talk up north. We're always I have friends. We constantly interrupt one another."
That's right.
I said, "You know what? How do you ever hear what the other person's saying?"
Well, maybe we just think faster.
Yeah, it's true. And as our old buddy Lou said, when you first told him I was a radio journalist, he said, "Oh, well, that means that you are in some capacity handling the Queen's English." And I laughed.
That's exactly the way he would have said it,
Thank you very much. I've worked on Lou. I have a lot of respect for that man.
He's a good old guy.
He's a third, can I say what he is? He's a third-generation geologist from right here in Grant County.
Yeah.
And you can take that man a sample of ore, a rock of any type, and he'll tell you what hole it came out of and what year.
I actually had
1948. That came out of Fierro, I believe.
I had that happen to me.
I'm not. I didn't make this up, Jim. I'm talking about the same guy that you know. God, we're talking about our old buddy Lou.
Yeah.
We were at breakfast the other day, and Lou is a man of few words, isn't he?
Yeah, but they're always good words.
They are. He seems to be nodding off in his breakfast. A lot of times he's just leaning forward and listening.
That's right.
He said, and I realized the man was about to speak, and I turned to him and he said, "I'm predicting rain this year. It's going to begin July 4th, and it's going to end," what did he say?
No, he said it was
September?
going to begin July 4th at 2:15 p.m.
He gave
and
the
it would end
time.
about
Go ahead.
September 15th around 10 o'clock at night.
And the big ditch is going to run again.
Mm-hmm. It's been 100 years or more.
And when he said that, Jim, chimney,
Chimney.
chills ran down my spine.
Well, he knows what he's talking
And I
about.
asked him, I said, "Lou, what makes you so certain of that?" He says, "The spirit talks to me occasionally." And another set of chim-chims ran down my spine.
Well, Richard Pryor said it best. He said, "You ain't never going to get to be old by being stupid."
No what? Well, he proved that point, didn't he? Richard Pryor could have lived to be a lot older, couldn't he?
No.
No?
No.
You think he wanted what he wanted?
He was
and got
destined
it?
to end when he did the way he did.
Well, I am the poster child for pot smokers in this town and Grant County. That's me, Tater.
Somebody's got to do it.
I'm the hater. I hate all you people, or whatever it is. They're always talking about haters this and haters that. Haters are people that don't want you to make your own choices and want to make them for you.
Yeah.
In my book, I've spent 2 years trying to figure out what these gangbangers mean by being a hater. Well, what it is, it's don't be hating on me. Get your own life. Get a life. So I want to be the poster child for legalization of marijuana around
Me too.
here. I'll get busted so you don't have to.
I
All
don't
law
wanna get busted,
enforcement, all law enforcement in this town can bust me for marijuana. Okay, but I tell you what, dude, when you put angel dust, when you dusted my weed, you crossed a line.
That's right. I think there ought to be a community outrage.
There, you'd think
There should
but
be.
I don't think anyone's heard this.
Well, maybe they've heard of it now. Maybe now we can see some outrage.
I just now put two and two
And
together.
you got my permission. You can, if anybody asks you, Jim gave you permission to take a baseball bat to the next drug dealer that sells marijuana dusted with PCP.
We're not
and I hope
advocating
you do it
violence.
tonight.
No, we're not advocating violence.
I
but
am.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a comedy show. It's not a how-to.
That would be pretty funny, seeing some drug dealer get his brains
Well,
beat in because he dusted the marijuana with PCP.
I'm taking matters into my own hands because we have a venue, and I think people ought to know that if you're smoking pot in this town, you might be smoking PCP with it right now.
You probably are now.
So we were having lunch the other day, Jim and I.
Yesterday.
And it was yesterday?
Yeah.
It seems like a
How quick time goes by.
Why don't you go ahead and give a lead in on this one?
Well, I was just sitting there eating a hamburger, and Tater come in the place, and
Jim had forgotten to give me a ride. We had a miscommunication. I had my dog with me, so he didn't have his car there, so there was nothing I could do but let the dog kind of wander around. One of the employees comes up and says, is this your dog outside? I said, oh, yes, it is. And I went out there and I put her in the back of a friend of mine's truck. Well, she'll usually stay in a truck. It was hot, and I wasn't going to be there, but I thought 5 or 10 minutes, get my food and come to the radio station.
Yeah.
Well, it took them so long to take my order.
It did. It was a long
But they've
wait.
got time to wander around, and there's 12 employees walking around in there, and they, after identifying that I was that dog's owner, I went outside and I spoke to her again, and she laid down by my bicycle. Then I went and put her in the truck. Well, I guess somebody saw her hop out of the truck, and an employee of this place called the dog catcher.
Isn't that something?
And they said, hey, look, someone's got your dog. So I go out there, and I know the dog catcher. He knows the dog because, let's see, I got the dog from the
dog
shelter.
catcher.
Yes, and I said, do you want a dog? He says, no, we have enough dogs down there, thank you. My dog has been spayed and neutered, unlike some of you people.
Oh, boy, now there's an
don't
interesting
he? That's a
topic
whole
for
show right
conversation.
there.
There's an hour.
Yeah, so anyway, it takes you 10 minutes to take my order for a hamburger at a fast food joint.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to keep my cool. Then when I figured out they'd called the dog catcher on me and didn't have time to take my order, I finally just blew my stack, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You went off pretty good. But see, I didn't know the part about the dog catcher.
You
I just thought,
You're standing out front talking to him.
I just thought he was in there as a customer like everybody else. I didn't
Well,
know.
anyway, after I blew my top, I made a complete fool of myself without profanity. But I told them that, blah, blah, this and that. You don't have you knew whose dog this was. If the dog was being a problem, you never told me. And it took 10 minutes to get an order in. I was angry, and I took my tray and I threw my scraps, my trash into the garbage, and apparently a gigantic set of keys that I had with me. So I, a few minutes later, had to go back and apologize to the manager and all the employees.
I was proud of you for that.
I ate crow. Well, I needed those keys, buddy. But
Yeah, right.
You know what? I was out of control. I was angry, but I was having a bad day to begin with. And Jim says,
I just told him you were having a bad day.
and I said, yes, I'm having a bad day. I was
fun.
still hot.
It was
And
fun, yeah.
where I'm throwing my garbage away, there's a couple of managers, or a manager and 2 assistant managers, and there's some poor soul who is being interviewed for a position in the fast food establishment, and they've got their back to the trash can because it's on the booth is on the other side of the trash can, and I am not yelling, but I am speaking in my loudest. That's why I can't talk today. I am hoarse today. I was mad because I just spent $7 to come into an air-conditioned place and sit down and have a nice little meal and talk to some friends and maybe just relax a little bit and calm down in the middle of a bad day. But I'm the least important person in there. They can't be bothered to flip my burger.
Right.
So anyway, that's why I can't talk today.
There's an interesting sidebar on that just came to me. They called the dog catcher within about a minute after that dog jumped out of the truck. I remember about 2 years ago, somebody killed somebody and dumped their body at Penny Park. They still haven't solved that crime. Nobody would bother to call anybody to drop any information on them.
Well, that reminds me. Thank you for saying that. During our 2-week hiatus, you were apparently entertaining the troops in North Korea. I don't know.
I was telling them about Jesus.
You were on a Bob Hope USO tour or something and had them in stitches, and then finally
I was on my North Korean evangelistic crusade. Reverend Jim in the First Church of the Last Chance.
Amen, Jim. Amen, brother. But
We'll just have to carry this on till tomorrow's show.
No, and I want to tease, there are some shows. I also was doing some other work besides trying to bail your butt out from a communist country. Okay?
And I'm real appreciative that you and Governor Bill did that for me, too.
I know you would have done it for me, too, Jim.
I would.
The thing is, I've been working on 3 different stories. It initially was just 1 story. It's now turned into 3, and they all end in homicides. And the problem is, I'm afraid that 2 of these stories may end in mine.
I'll keep my eye open, because I ain't going to let that happen to you.
Please do.
And,
you've been listening to the Jim and Tater Show.
Right here on Coot FM 88.1 in Silver City, Hurley, New Mexico.
Hurley.
Talk to you later, folks. You have a good day, and be careful what you smoke.
Bye-bye.